There's two pair I wanted to talk about that I forgot, and I've got a different loft. Got them in a breeding loft. Really valuable pairs. They're already proven breeders. They've kept been together for. One pair was put together last year, and I loved every bird they raised. And this year, this pair here has been together since Noah hit dry land. This is Mr. Wattle. He's 13 years old this year. My oldest pigeon I got. Flew 500 miles. 6 times. It's flown 600 miles twice, maybe 3 times. I'd have to look back. Single tail. You know, fertiled every egg last year at 12 years old. I raised 10, maybe 12 babies out of him and this bird in red eye. You know, that's pretty good for a 12-year-old cock. Quiet pigeon, all personality. Loves his nest, good father. You can see he's wattled up. I don't have any other bird that has a wattle as big as him, and that's why I call him Mr. Wattle. And he's been with this hen, Red Eye. She's a 500-mile young bird. And this is the pair right here. Oh, you calm down. That's your husband. How can you talk that way to your husband? And it's almost Christmas time, too. Very, very bad manners. Smacking your husband like that at night time. He's not been running around on you or anything. He's a good, faithful pigeon. This poor old bird here and that hen there, looks like he's been browbeaten by his wife. I've raised a lot of birds out of him. I've got 2 that I'm keeping for breeders this year. They take after him, the cockbird does, which I was tickled to death. I want to, you know, when he's 13 years, I want to have a bird to replace him with. And I think he'll fertile every egg again this year. He's that kind of pigeon. They raised the bird. That was the father of the bird that bred me the 41st place in South Africa. And their birds have all flown good. Every now and then I'll raise a bird out of them. It's a little bit open backed. But 75% of them, 3 out of 4 of them are perfect pigeons. And I get real typey little hens out of them. You know, beautiful little wedge faces out of them. I love the hens that come out of this pair. I've got one out here in the aviary that I'll show you just in a second. That's just coming out of the nest right now. But this is a fantastic pair of pigeons, and I will be breeding these 2 pigeons again together this year for right now. It's Mr. Wattle and the red eye hen. Now you'll see them on my website. And let's walk out here. You hush. You fussed enough. She's got brilliant red eyes. That's why, cherry red eyes. Let me walk out here. I hope you can get it. It's a beautiful, really a light violet eye. It's not a light violet eye. It's just a regular. Hold still, big boy. You know, he's been with me all these years, and he knows when a pigeon's been with you 12 years, 13 years, they know you pretty good. There's his wing. Look at the quality he's still got. You know, he's still got beautiful feathering. Never sick. You know, he's not a bird that's ever been ill on me. I don't know. I absolutely love him. He's a very valuable pigeon. I'm tickled every bird I raise out of him. You know, they're very valuable bird. Love his type. There's a lot of old timers who love racing pigeons with that heavy eye sear and heavy wattle. They're mindful of the old 50s and 60s days. You know, a lot of the guys that are breeding pigeons to fly now and advertising, they have that clean sear and clean. But this is old time Sion blood. You went into Charles Heitzman's loft, you saw lots and lots of birds with this kind of, you know, face on them. A lot of wattles like this. He's a small, medium small pigeon. He's not a big pigeon. Good, again, typical long distance bird. Supreme long distance, another 600 miler. Here's another bird I wanted to talk about, which I didn't talk about, which needs to be talked about. This is Hardcore Junior. You hear me mention him all the time. I raised a lot of birds out of him. I raised 35 birds out of Hardcore. And in my opinion, this was the single best bird I raised out of him. He's a 500-mile young bird. And he is almost exactly like holding Hardcore. Same eye, same face, same color. He's Hardcore all over again. And he's out of a blue chick hen and a silver mealy cock. He's got just a touch of mealy in him. He's just like his daddy was. Like I said, I raised about 35 birds, and in my opinion, he was the best bird I raised out of him. One thing closer to being like Hardcore, and was one of the best flyers. He's got medium small bird. Flew 500 miles. I don't know if it was on the day or on the second day, but again, another 500-mile young birds. And always fertiles his eggs. Very aggressive, alpha character, just like Hardcore. And His blood's all in my lofts, all in that, all down there in the silver loft. You'll see, either his daddy or him in so many of my pigeons. I wanted to talk about, again, not a gorgeous, beautiful pigeon, but he's a 2017. He's a 5-year-old. What I call a bird, really, right kind of in his prime. Very alert, very smart pigeon. Her, and then that's going to end this little short video. All right. Okay. Here's the hen that I've got mated to Hardcore Junior. Dream mating. They raised some silver mealy splashes, straight silvers, blue bark pencils that are identical to Chattanooga, which is one of my icon pigeons I've ever had. Look, Queen Strawberry is a gorgeous pigeon. You can see she's a strawberry mealy. That's what they call this color. And again, like I talked about earlier, if you have a pigeon that's a red check or a silver bar and they have those markings in them that are not black, the black, if they're a red check or a silver bar, that means they're a male. But if they're tan colored like this, sort of off red, grayish red, that's a female. Females carry that color, their marking in them, and she's got that in her. She's out of Chattanooga, 600-mile bird. Long story behind Chattanooga. Chattanooga got hit by a hawk and survived it at 200 miles, came back the next day, tore all to pieces, and then came back from 600 miles, absolutely covered from head to toe in tar and oil. I don't even know how she flew 5 feet, and she got back, and after that, I kept her to breed from. She showed that she had that homing instinct and heart to come back. Tiny little blue pencil hen, very racy. And she was out of the hen I called number 1. Man number was 07, a small little blue bar hen that was also a good 500 miler. And that blood ran all through this loft 15 years ago. That was the main blood that was in that loft, was number 1. And a beautiful black lace, white flight cock was her daddy. And she had a brother that finished well in the AU race, and that when it was flown in Boston, I don't know, 15 years ago, finished 7th or something like that. But this is Queen Strawberry, and I've got a late hatch in there right now that means a lot to me out of them. Now I've got babies out of them that I'm breeding from this year. 2 600 milers, When you go back, she's a 500 miler and he's a 500 miler, but one generation back, you've got 4 600 milers. Again, I'm stressing long distance, and again, I want to show you what a strawberry mealy is. That's a classic strawberry mealy. That's called a strawberry mealy. Very, very fine hen.